Southwick tunnel is finally open to traffic. The Highways Agency, the contractors Taylor Woodrow and most motorists are heaving a collective sigh of relief. But why the big wait, and is this time going to end up costing the taxpayer money? The tunnel was the last link in the Brighton and Hove bypass, which runs between Shoreham and Stanmore. The opening ceremony was on the 18th of March, and at last, the Highways Agency were willing to discuss the 15-month delay and the expenditure involved, which, some reports are suggesting, is likely to hit the £40 million mark, twice as much as was expected.
We had some bad weather at the outset of the contract, which affected the preparation work for the tunnel. Then ground conditions inside the tunnel, where we were excavating the chalk, they were more difficult than anticipated, and that had knock-on effects for the rest of the programme. But everybody has worked very hard to get the bypass open for today.
So when are you likely to know how over budget the whole scheme's gone?
There are some contractual discussions, negotiations going on at the moment between the engineer and the contractor. Those discussions have to take place before we get a final figure for the cost of the bypass.
So basically you can't say really at this stage?
We're not in a position to give a figure at the moment. The tender price was £20 million. Obviously the final price will be in excess of that, but it wouldn't be appropriate for me to give a figure at this stage.
It is quite a difficult engineering feat, and there have been some delays which are unfortunate, but I think the important thing now is that the road is open to traffic and will start to bring benefits to the community which it's designed to serve.
But while those who had worked on the project were congratulating each other on its completion, a group of protesters were less than impressed with this particular feat of civil engineering.
This tunnel represents an absolute waste of money. It's £20 million overspent. It's environmentally damaging. The peace and tranquility is already being lost. You can hear vehicles in the background already. You know, it used to be a really quiet place to be able to come up onto the downs. You can see behind you the damage that it's done visually. There's camera poles sticking up and breaking the skyline of this once extremely beautiful area. The other reason is we really want a transport system for people and not for cars. Over 42% of the households in Brighton and Hove, which probably represents a majority of the population in Brighton and Hove, do not have access to a car. So what use is this? They need pedestrianisation, they need cycling facilities, they need investment in public transport, and they need traffic calming in residential areas. And how much money did we receive last year in Brighton and Hove? A measly £850,000. This has wasted an extra £20 million in the overspend. If that money had been invested in the centre of Brighton and Hove, then we would have a much healthier, sustainable and equitable transport system in Brighton and Hove, and we wouldn't need this ridiculous, expensive and outdated road here.
Well, you can find a rent-a-mob protest anywhere you go. We've moved on from having problems with NIMBYs. We now have problems with what I call NIBYs, those who have no connection with the area, who come along and tell the locals that they shouldn't be allowed to have the solution to their problems. Not in your backyard seems to be the problem now.
Although all the local councils have broadly welcomed the bypass, the whole drawn-out saga has attracted criticism from Hove Town Hall. Recently, the leader of Hove Council was seeking assurances that the Highways Agency would be penalising the contractors for these delays. Can you make any comment on that?
Yes, if the contractor is found to be at fault, then there are penalty clauses in the contract, and those penalty clauses will be initiated if appropriate.
And there has also been widespread criticism that local people were not kept sufficiently informed about the bypass during the problematic building process.
The Highways Agency does try hard to keep the public informed. We do issue newsletters during the course of construction. I accept that possibly on this occasion there could have been more information given, but we'll certainly learn by that mistake if it was a mistake, and on other schemes we'll be working hard to keep the public informed.
So while those using the bypass appreciate the nice scenery and the time saved on their journey, a growing band of environmental activists will be keeping a watchful eye on the Department of Transport's future road building plans.